Hey, how's it going, everyone? And welcome to episode 6 of Wrestless Radio. This is an episodic podcast diving headfirst into the wacky and wonderful world of professional wrestling. I'm your host and longtime wrestling fan, Julian Communist Concilio, and joining me on this revolt to take down the capitalist regime and with a state-funded log flume adventure ride, and is the overall clueless perspective in this equation, he is the smoking hot smoker himself, Scott Nananovich. Scott, how's it going?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good, thank you. Yourself, Jules?
Are you ready to divulge into the abyss of the late 90s? And I'm doing very well as well.
Yes?
Yes?
I am very ready.
Yes? What do you remember the late 90s?
Late 90s?
Late 90s. You're older than me. You've almost got your pension card. What do you remember of the late 90s?
I remember Tamagotchis.
Tamagotchis.
I remember Beyblades, spinning tops.
Ooh.
Yeah, I remember I had one like really early and then it was like a shit one. And then when they became popular, everyone else got one that was really powerful and mine was just shit. The struggles of a kid in the late 90s.
This is the part where I play the sad music.
Oh, yeah.
The late 90s, a simpler time when baggy jeans were hot as fuck, Jerry Springer was hot as fuck, and the Nintendo 64 looked pretty sexy when you blew on the cartridge. Media and television were pushing the envelope with more edgy and explicit content, which meant in order to keep up with pop culture, wrestling had to do the same. Marketing to children wasn't paying the bills anymore, but a new, cool, young, totally rad demographic was on the horizon. I'm talking about college students, 18 to 25.
Nice.
Yeah, these boys like rock music, excessive violence, and a good set of tits.
Yep.
Good thing for these lads, the WWF and the Attitude Era has got them covered. But what got them to stay for the ride? Was it the show's sense of urgency, a stacked roster full of fun characters, perhaps the memorable storylines, or maybe it was a certain feud between a tyrannical boss and a badass Texan? Yes, we are looking at the feud between Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Mr. McMahon from start to finish. This will be a series of episodes where we look at the significant matches, promo segments, and everything in between. It isn't the most linear storyline, I would say. It's sort of fragmented at points, because Austin gets injured at some point in 2000.
Well, I mean, our conversations can be pretty fragmented at times.
Well, that's why I'm the editor. That's why I chop things up to shit. But we're going to do our best to cover the main beats of this feud anyway, over a 4-year period. So from 98 to 2001, essentially.
So you're telling me that we're going to be recording this series over a 4-year period?
You are definitely correct, Scott. Settle in.
Alright.
I'm very curious actually to see what part of this era holds up and what parts seem a bit dated.
Okay.
Because remember, it is the late 90s.
Yeah.
Political correctness wasn't around back then. Or at least, wasn't breaking through the glass ceiling as it is now. So before we get started, I'm going to show you the infamous promo that kick-started the career and character of Stone Cold Steve Austin. What do you think of the name Stone Cold Steve Austin? Stone Cold.
Stone Cold. Well, he could be like an Arnold Schwarzenegger character.
Yeah.
Wearing a big robotic suit.
Yeah.
You know?
Mr.
Nice
Freeze.
to meet you.
Well, actually, the way he came up with his name, Steve Austin, was his wife handed him a cup of tea.
Yeah.
And he was trying to think of names for his wrestler, because at the time he wanted to rebrand himself.
Yeah.
And he was letting his tea go cold. And his wife said, "Honey, please drink your tea. It's going to go stone cold."
Ah.
Light bulb moment.
Well, I mean, the name Stone Cold does sound pretty badass.
It does.
Like he's going to knock you out stone cold.
Stone cold.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah. So we're going all the way back to 1996, and a disgruntled and heel Steve Austin beat Jake the Snake Roberts and just won the King of the Ring tournament. This promo lives on infamy for one iconic line.
The fourth prestigious King of the Ring, Stone Cold Steve Austin, an incredible victory.
The first thing I want to be done is to get that piece of crap out of my ring. Don't just get him out of the ring, get him out of the WWF. Because I've proved, son, without a shadow of a doubt, you ain't got what it takes anymore. You sit there and you thump your Bible and you say your prayers, and it didn't get you anywhere. Talk about your Psalms, talk about John 3:16. Austin 3:16 says, I just whipped your ass.
Come on, that's not necessary.
All he's got to do is go buy him a cheap bottle of Thunderbird and try to dig back some of that courage he had in his prime. As the king of the ring, I'm serving notice to every one of the WWF superstars. I don't give a damn what they are. They're all on the list, and that's Stone Cold's list, and I'm fixing to start running through all of them. As far as this championship match is considered, son, I don't give a damn if it's Davey Boy Smith or Shawn Michaels. Steve Austin's time has come. And when I get the shot, you're looking at the next WWF champion, and that's the bottom line, because Stone Cold said so.
Obviously anything but humble. The fourth prestigious king of the ring, Stone Cold Steve Austin.
You talk about your nursery rhymes. Talk about your psalms. So, Scott, what did you think of that wonderful introduction to Austin?
Seems like a bit of a prick.
Yeah, that was heel Austin.
Yeah.
That was the original Stone Cold character was, meant to be a heel.
I mean, I don't know what goes on in the King. What is it called?
King of the Ring.
King of the Ring.
So it was a tournament to crown the King of the Ring, and the winner of the King of the Ring gets a title match at SummerSlam.
Do they
which is the next pay-per-view.
So for King of the Ring, do they, get super soakers as like a weapon under the ring? Because he was fucking covered.
Oh yeah,
in
covered
liquid.
in sweat. He was a very, very.
Was it a wrestling match or a super soaker fight? Like Jesus Christ!
It was the oily brawl. Yeah, Austin was very moist, a moist Texan. So you get the sense of the character. So he's this loudmouth Texan. He seems ruthless, really aggressive, also classless. Like, making fun of somebody's religion.
Oh yeah, that's pretty full on.
So Jake Roberts, the man he faced, was kind of like his born again Christian.
Yeah.
Like, that was kind of public knowledge, and so he was making fun of that a little bit.
Yeah.
Talk about your John 3:16.
That was pretty good.
Austin 3:16 says, I just whipped your ass.
Yeah.
That's the iconic line that he's known for, and that's the most quotable line that Austin's probably ever said. And, like, remember, this is 1996, so this was before he introduced his other gimmicks. So this was before all the beer, the middle fingers, all these other catchphrases. Mm-hmm. He did have one catchphrase, though.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line, because Stone Cold said so.
Okay.
That one that you said at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the fans were actually reciting it along with him, which is interesting, because you could see the fan support
for a heel character.
For a heel character was starting to turn in his favour.
Yeah.
So you've got this character that's designed to be a heel, has all the character traits of a heel.
Yeah.
But because it was so different at the time, nobody else was doing what he was doing. Being that really intense, just like not giving a fuck about anyone. Like,
he had attitude.
Fans just gravitated towards him so easily. Like, Austin, he walked and talked like a badass, and that was his character, even as a heel. Like, he made having a bald head and a goatee look cool. How can you fucking make that look cool? Nobody looks cool with that. Unless you're Steve Austin. Like, and he didn't wear anything flashy either. You saw black tights, black boots. Very plain looking wrestler. As plain as you can get. But he doesn't, he doesn't need a costume department. Like, he literally comes out in a black vest. And, like, just his tights and wrestling boots, and that's it. But again, it suits the I don't give a fuck.
Do you call them tights?
Yeah, you can call them tights.
I mean, they're just like a little pair
Well,
of Speedos.
they're called trunks.
Yeah, okay.
Wrestling trunks.
Yeah.
You can call them tights as well.
Okay. I would have assumed, like, tights is what, like, dancers wear. The full get-up, lycra all over your body.
Well, that's what wrestlers wear, tights. They
Oh,
pretty much wear lycra.
Yeah.
So now fast forward to November of 1997. Montreal Screwjob has happened. Brett is gone to WCW. Michaels is the WWF champion. and Vince is in damage control mode
Yeah.
because everyone fucking hates the WWF.
Yeah.
Or him. He has the sit-down interview with commentator Jim Ross, where he is very adamant that what he did is the right thing to do to preserve the WWF Championship in the WWF. Vince was also sure at the time that he would come out of this a babyface. He thought that he would be cheered, which is very, very interesting. He thought the fans would stand behind him in this, but that wasn't the case, and Vince was the most hated man in wrestling at the time.
Okay.
So Vince did what any good booker would do and embrace the heat. He basically made himself into this villainous, tyrannical, fucking evil human being. Over time, of course, not initially, but he kind of transitioned into that.
Well, you said that before the Montreal Screwjob, nobody knew that he was the boss.
Yeah, it was sort of like little known knowledge, unless you were kind of a smarter fan that wasn't really outed yet.
Yeah.
I think there were some moments where he did come out as like, okay, he's the boss. Like, he's the real boss of the company, not this other, like, because there were other people like Gorilla Monsoon or Jack Tunney who were like these figurehead, kayfabe boss.
Yeah.
So while you've got Vince kind of feeding into this criticism and this heat that he's getting, you've got this rising star in Stone Cold coming up at the same time, who's in full character mode at this point. He's got all the bells and whistles, he's got the beer, he's got the middle fingers, all the catchphrases. The fans are fucking adoring him at this point.
Yeah.
This is in 97. And so you've got this guy who's basically ready to be put in that main event scene. He's ready to be your poster boy, for the company. So he's going to be doing all the media interviews. He's going to be on your press junkets, talk show interviews. He's going to have all the merch on magazine covers, video game covers. He's going to be everywhere. So first segment we're watching is from Raw is War, September 22nd, 1997. So this is before Montreal. A month earlier at SummerSlam, Austin had broken his neck in a match with Owen Hart. Yeah.
Whoa.
It was a botched sit-out pile driver, and it was one of the most horrific wrestling injuries.
Oh, God.
And
Do we really have to watch this?
Yep, we're going to watch it right now. And here it is for your listening pleasure.
Watch it behind! Austin, an opportunist with Owen Hart now. Let's see what Austin can do with Eamon. No. How about that? A gun rip. Tombstone pile driver. Shades of the Undertaker. Austin dropped right on his head. And how much more punishment can Austin...
So, Austin was out of action for a couple months. He put off having surgery, though, that he needed to repair that neck. And that ended up actually catching up to him with an early retirement. So, only a few years after that he actually had to retire.
Yeah, shit.
But the main reason he wrestled his way through it was because he was about to get this the biggest push of his career. He was about to be thrusted into this main event scene where he's never been before. So you kind of don't blame him for pushing through it. And like him in interviews has said that he doesn't regret it. He doesn't regret not having that surgery and taking time off. So back to this segment though, they use the broken neck as a part of storyline.
Okay.
So his frustrations for not being the Intercontinental Champion and the Tag Team Champion anymore, and not being able to wrestle because Vince wouldn't let him until his neck was healed up properly.
Oh, so how terrible.
I know, what a heel.
What a horrible boss.
But this is what started the tension between the two.
Let him arrest him, McMahon! No. Yes! Let him arrest him!
No, wait a minute. Rock, wait a minute.
That's assault and battery, Ross. He assaulted a police officer.
What's the matter with you? What's the matter with you? Get a hold of yourself.
Arrest him!
Just give me a minute. Just give me a minute.
Look at McMahon. He thinks he can fix anything, Ross.
Well, these police officers are taking Austin to jail.
What is the matter with you?
He violated the restraining order.
Take him to jail. He assaulted the police, too.
You've had to forfeit the Intercontinental title, the Tag Team title. Of course, everybody can understand why you're upset.
I can understand you being upset not being able to compete. They can understand that. But don't break the law.
He already did. Look at this. Stone Cold's not going to win this fight with New York City's finest.
Don't you understand? Don't you understand why you're not allowed to compete? You can't get that through your head. Don't you know why? Don't you know that you're not physically able to compete? Your doctors say you're not ready. If you compete, you could injure yourself for good. You could wind up paralyzed.
That'd be good.
And the WWF is not going to stand by and let you do that to yourself. These people don't want you to wind up in a wheelchair. They want to see you compete. Everybody wants to see you compete. But in due time, Steve. In due time.
Well, listen to McMahon. Get the violins
Get a
out.
hold of yourself.
Telling the truth. Makes all the sense in the world. Hey, you better be talking to those guys over there. I say put him in the slammer.
Listen. Don't you know? People care. In the World Wrestling Federation, we care. They care. They care about you. That's all it is. And you just got to go with it. In other words, you got to work within the system. That's all you got to do. Is simply work within the system.
You know as well as I do that this is what I do for a living. This is all that I do, and can't nobody tell I ain't the best in the damn world. Don't even say nothing. Don't say nothing. Sit here and tell me to work within the system. You ain't the one sitting on your ass in the house like I am. But if that's what it takes to make you or the World Wrestling Federation happy, hell, I feel like Cool Hand Luke. I'll work within your stupid little system.
That's all these people ask.
I appreciate the fact that you and the World Wrestling Federation care. And I also appreciate the fact that, hell, you can kiss my ass.
And we're back, Scott. Drama has unfolded with Austin firing the first shot, and the war is on. Overall thoughts on this segment?
It seems like an overreaction.
Yeah.
By Steve Austin.
Yeah.
Your management is not letting you work because you could break your fucking neck.
Yeah.
That's pretty reasonable.
Yeah.
And then you just fucking choke slam him.
No, so the move that he did to him is the Stone Cold Stunner.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's his finishing move.
Where
he grabs you by the neck and then drops you on his shoulder.
Okay, yeah.
McMahon kind of sold it a bit wonky, but he's not a wrestler, so who cares? McMahon was the babyface in this situation.
Yeah.
He was being the better man, trying to be considerate towards Austin. Austin didn't want to hear it. Again, going back to that not giving a shit attitude that got him over in the first place. So it's fascinating to see a person with all the character traits of a heel, but being adored by the fans, like absolutely loving him. It shows how different he was from everyone else on the roster, because he was like edgy as well. Like really suiting the time period.
He's like that rebel person that everyone wanted to be, maybe.
Exactly. Like
Yeah.
it's almost relatable.
Yeah.
Like in an idealistic point of view, kind of like, oh, I'd love to be like him.
Yeah,
Where
well,
I could tell my boss to go fuck himself, you know.
Nobody does, but they dream about
Yeah,
it.
so he is essentially like the idealist.
Yeah.
If we want to get all fucking philosophical with it, you know. I don't think wrestling designed to be that way, but so far, have you got an idea of the Stone Cold character by now?
Oh, yeah, he's
Because this is how he's going to be for the rest of this series that we're doing.
freaking insane, man.
Yeah, intense, like, just ruthless as well.
No self-control.
No self-control, just a little bit unstable.
Oh, yeah. Shit,
Like,
yeah.
there's a catchphrase that comes up, DTA, don't trust Austin. I don't know if it's catchphrase, I don't know if he dubbed it himself or somebody else did. That's the character we'll be experiencing throughout this entire series, so get used to it.
Okay.
Fast forward a few months to January 18, 1998, and we are in post-Montreal world.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to call it 1998 PM if we're using biblical dating.
Yep.
It's the Royal Rumble, a 30-man over-the-top rope battle royal. So the only way to win is to throw your opponent over the top rope and they're eliminated.
Okay.
And so,
30 men in the ring.
well, not at once. So every 2 minutes, a new entrant comes in.
Okay.
And so it's a really, really fun match. And we will watch one later on.
Yeah.
We're not going to watch this one because I tried watching it and it was really, really boring. I watched like 3/4 of it and I was just like, fuck me, this is boring.
Oh, but I mean, you
It goes for
said
an hour.
an hour.
Yeah.
Whoa. Because you kept saying the Montreal Screwjob was a really boring match. I really liked it.
Yeah. I don't know. Because the Royal Rumble's different. Because unless there isn't like surprise entrance that you wouldn't expect, or like some really good spots in the match, or some good like storyline progression, a lot of it is just kind of people punching each other like in the corner or trying to like put each other over the top rope.
Okay.
So it's a bit of like the majority of the Rumble is just like kind of push and shove. So the winner of the Royal Rumble match gets a championship match at Wrestlemania, the grandest stage of them all, the Big Daddy, the Super Bowl for wrestling.
Yeah.
In the build-up to this match, Austin was attacking the various Rumble entrants backstage and during matches because his motto was, do unto others before they do unto me.
Are you serious? Oh man, that is amazing.
So Austin essentially put a target on his own back.
Yeah.
But Austin prevailed in the end, and he wins the Rumble match, which means he gets a guaranteed shot at the WWF Championship at WrestleMania 14. So the next night, on January 19th, Raw is War,
Yeah.
Vince McMahon is in the ring to introduce the special guest Enforcer for the WWF title match at WrestleMania. But Steve Austin interrupts to ruin the occasion.
Ladies and gentlemen, in just a moment, we will make the biggest announcement ever in World Wrestling Federation history. However,
Wow.
at this time, I would like to introduce to you a man who is simply the baddest man on the planet. Ladies and gentlemen, Iron Mike Tyson! It is unquestionably an honor and a privilege to have you standing in a World Wrestling Federation ring.
Well, it's just a pleasure for me to be here. I've been a fan. I've been following ever since I was 8, 9 years old. I'm just happy to be here.
Who are some of your old-time favorites in the WWF?
Bruno Sammartino,
Yeah, all right. Don Leo Jonathan as well?
Nikolai Volkman. Man, I go way back from the 70s. I'm just proud to be involved with this.
All right, now, ladies and gentlemen, the moment we have awaited, the big announcement, and the announcement is that on March 29, at WrestleMania, in this very ring,
Yeah?
Iron Mike Tyson. Well,
Yes, indeed. Mike Tyson is standing in Stone Cold's ring, and business is damn sure about
Mr. Austin, why are you here?
Because I'm sick and tired of seeing Mike Tyson. He comes in, he's shaking everybody's hands, making friends with all the WWF superstars, and it's made me so damn sick I've been in the back throwing up.
Yeah, me too.
I ain't gonna shake your damn hand because I ain't out here to make friends with you. Mike, shut up. I respect what you've done in the boxing world, but Jesus Christ, son, when you step in this ring, you're messing with Stone Cold Steve Austin, and that's something you don't do.
Yeah, you're on a different planet now.
Let me make it short and sweet. What I'm telling you is I want a piece of Mike Tyson's ass.
Whoa!
Shut up. Don't say one word, Vince. I'll knock your damn lights out, too. I respect what you done, Mike, but you're out here calling yourself the baddest man on the planet. Right now, you got your little beady eyes locked on the eyes of the world's toughest son of a bitch. I could beat you any day of the week, twice on Sunday. Do I think you could beat my ass? Hell no. Do I think I could beat your ass? Why, hell yeah. I don't know how good your hearing is, but if you don't understand what I'm saying, I always got a little bit of sign language, so here's to you.
And we're back! Yes, it's former heavyweight boxer and convicted rapist, Iron Mike Tyson.
Oh.
Yeah. He's been named the special guest enforcer for the title match at Mania. But before we get into your thoughts on this segment, I want to talk about why they brought in Mike Tyson and his role in all of this.
Mm.
So you know how we've talked about WCW Nitro and how well they're doing at the time?
Mm-hmm.
Nitro was beating Raw in television ratings 84 weeks in a row.
Yeah, shit.
So, what's that? 84 weeks. That's a year and a half?
Over a year and a half, man.
Yeah. So Nitro just had the star power Raw didn't at the time. USA Network, which was the cable channel Raw was on, they were thinking of cancelling Monday Night Raw in January of 1998.
Yeah.
So, this period. Vince brought Mike Tyson in as a direct response to this. Tyson was suspended at the time for biting Evander Holyfield's ear in a fight.
Yep.
So he was in the media around the time. Also, not long before he was released from prison because he was a convicted rapist. For some reason, people forget about that little detail.
Yeah, shit.
I guess the makers of The Hangover didn't mind that.
Yeah.
So Tyson needed some good PR for himself, and Vince needed a boost in ratings. Tyson came in for the build-up for WrestleMania 14, which turned the tide for the WWF financially. No matter what your opinion is of Mike Tyson, you can't deny that he brought in ratings for them and pay-per-view buys. So he really gave them the kickstart they needed to bring in casual fans.
Mm-hmm.
And fans who weren't into wrestling, but they'd go, hey, I know Mike Tyson and he's going to be on this pay-per-view, maybe I should buy it. The important thing to understand about this era is that it was ran by casual fans.
Okay.
So the diehard wrestling fans that were watching every week isn't going to bring in the numbers. The Joe Schmo that goes to Boston University and watches Raw and Nitro with his buddies, with his other frat boy fucking douches,
Yeah.
you know, they're perfect for wrestling.
Yeah, okay.
So those are the guys that brought in the money.
Yeah.
Now to this segment. What are your thoughts on Tyson and Austin?
Tyson just like, I mean, he's wearing his suit. He
Got
seems like
his entourage.
yeah, his entourage is wearing a suit. He's like acting really polite,
Yeah.
and they're saying like how much of a badass he is.
Yeah.
And then you've got like Steve Austin,
Yeah.
who's freaking like rocks up unexpectedly,
You're standing in my ring.
wearing his like, you know, his like shitty jeans,
His Wrangler
boots,
jeans. Yeah.
his like he just doesn't give a fuck attitude. Like, you know, it's a really interesting contrast
Yeah.
between, you know, the two
Yeah.
characters. I understand why they brought in Mike Tyson,
Yeah.
but like, you know, I kind of get where Steve Austin's character is coming from.
Yeah. You
Going
understand.
like, you're trying to bring in this other guy. You're saying that we're not good enough.
Yeah, I guess you
kinda
can look
thing.
at it from that perspective. You can see why Austin would be pissed off. And also, like, I don't know, Austin, again, not giving a fuck, also wants to stick it to McMahon. You know, why not get in the face of Mike Tyson and, like, ruin this moment for McMahon, who's, like, making this big announcement? You know, what a way to do that. But with Austin, obviously also probably feeling threatened by Mike Tyson. It's like, oh, you're the baddest man on the planet, I'm the toughest son of a bitch.
Yeah.
You know, in the WWF. So, I think, in terms of the build for WrestleMania 14, it was one of the biggest builds they've ever had, actually. Michaels and Austin, like, that match itself, I don't remember it being that memorable, but the build up to it was definitely something to watch and something that a lot of people got into. And this pay-per-view made a lot of money out of it.
I think it was crazy how much people ran into the ring
Yeah, so
as soon as Steve Austin's music started playing.
Vince almost has his own entourage in the Yes Men.
Yeah.
So you've got Patterson and Briscoe, Pat Patterson and Gerald Briscoe. Those are the Stooges that we will actually see a lot more of.
Okay.
As this storyline progresses. Also, Sergeant Slaughter was there. He's the WWF commissioner, which means he's like the general manager, like
Okay.
authority figure, but not a higher ranking as Vince. Vince is obviously top ranking.
Shane was there.
Shane McMahon was there, a young Shane McMahon.
He was
in his
restraining.
20s around that time.
He was restraining his dad.
Restraining his
from
dad.
fighting Steve Austin while Steve Austin is being pinned by,
You ruined it, damn it!
by like 5 guys.
So, Scott, what are your thoughts on overall Steve Austin, and are you looking forward to seeing some more of him in the future?
Well, I've only watched a very short amount of clips
Yeah.
of him today, but already I'm so excited to see this character get in the ring.
Oh, yeah.
See this sweaty, bold mess of a man
Yes.
lose his shit at, you know, the other people that are in the match.
Yeah.
You know, if other people... I'm kind of excited to see if anyone else comes in the match. It's to watch, like, Steve Austin just throw them out of the ring like they're nothing.
Yeah.
Like...
I mean, Austin is, like, the whole package of Steve Austin is, like, almost perfect in some way, because it's, like, everything suits his character to a T, including his wrestling style.
Steve Austin has such a reputation.
Yeah.
Like, as soon as he comes out, everyone starts freaking out.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, the crowd
that's got to
pop.
be because of the way he wrestles.
Yes. Yeah. Part of it that, and I would say part of it, just his character itself, is just...
Yeah.
A lot of people gravitated towards it. So I think with Austin, with his character and his wrestling style, it's like a perfect marriage between the two. Because in the ring, he's wild, he's fucking aggressive, like
Yeah.
a lot of strikes, a lot of brawling. He used to be a very technical wrestler, actually. And because he transitioned into this character, he changed his wrestling style along with it
Okay.
to be more of a brawler. Because Austin can be a technical wrestler. He can do the mat wrestling. He can do that ground style. But he changed it just because it suited his character more.
Does he still retain being a heel throughout this feud?
No, throughout this feud, he's kind of a babyface tweener. So a tweener is essentially somebody who's
yeah.
obviously in between heel or babyface, doesn't really have like a bias towards either. So that was Steve Austin and Vince McMahon, part 1. We will be continuing this series as the weeks progress, and we'll be moving into Wrestlemania 14 next episode. But we'll be actually watching the match itself. So that'll be interesting to see Austin finally get the crowning jewel, the WWF Championship. Very pivotal moment in his career, and pivotal moment for the WWF. So it'll be very interesting to watch that match. It's also Michael's last match for 4 years. Michael's actually retired straight after that match. So he was gone for 4 years because of a back injury.
Okay.
So interesting to see Michael's performance throughout the injury kind of takes its toll on him.
Okay.
Throughout it. And there are points where you can notice where Michael's is really struggling.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know if that affects the quality of the match. I haven't seen the match in quite a long time, but I think we'll definitely analyze that next time on Wrestless Radio. Hey everyone, Julian here from the Not Too Desolate Future. Just to let you know, this podcast will be a two-parter one because it's Easter and why the hell not. Also, our first recording session was only 35 minutes long and it's a little bit short for a podcast, so I figured why not cram two into one and get more bang for your buck. So there you go. Happy Easter, I guess. Enjoy. We were on the road to Wrestlemania, and now we're exiting the highway to our destination. What's that in the distance? The WWF champion Shawn Michaels is defending against the up-and-coming Texas Rattlesnake, Stone Cold Steve Austin, with Mike Tyson as the special guest enforcer. Michaels has D-Generation X in his corner, with Iron Mike Tyson being an honorary DX member. Austin has the odds stacked against him. Will he prevail to capture the richest prize in the WWF? Will Michaels' back be able to hold on in this match? Will Vince McMahon's wishes of a true WWF champion come true? Will Mike Tyson get paid $3.5 million for the little work that he did? Will Jim Ross yell Austin 3 times in succession? Will the answers to these questions become questions themselves? Find out when we watch Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Shawn Michaels. He does not know how to do it.
What the hell is he doing?
He's doing the crotch chop.
Hello, you do.
Look at him. This is so funny. He doesn't realise he's got his back to the hard camera as well. Turn around, you idiot.
The baddest man alive. He doesn't
baddest man on the planet. Look at him. He looks so sketchy.
He does not look like he belongs there.
Oh no. Look at, he's so ridiculous.
What is he doing?
He's doing the thumbs down on him. He doesn't know how to carry himself, Tyson. Everything he does is just so awkward. Bless his heart, he's trying.
Yeah.
He's trying. I just find it really wooden. I feel like they just didn't give him direction as to what to do when he goes out there. This is seizure inducing. They keep doing these stupid cuts. Oh my god, stop cutting.
Why is Mike Tyson there?
I don't know. Special guest enforcer.
Enforcer? What's that supposed to
I
mean?
don't know. I can't define it for you. I honestly don't know what enforcer. There is no enforcer in wrestling. Not in it. Like every wrestling match doesn't have an enforcer. There's no security guard standing there just watching the match. It's just, I don't know. I guess they didn't want him to be a referee because they probably didn't trust him to carry that responsibility, so they were like, I don't know, he's an enforcer. Oh.
That would have hurt.
Are you bored by this?
So bored.
Yeah, there's not much going on.
Doesn't even try and like interfere or anything.
Nah, he doesn't do much in this. Yeah, he barely can get in the ring. He literally had to lift his leg with his hand to get it inside the ring. Every time he does something, he goes to the ropes and leans on it. 3.5 million. 3.5 million for his appearance. Oh.
Here's our live reaction.
And I watched this yesterday or the other day.
Oh,
I was like, this is my second watch of it.
It's even more fucking boring.
And it doesn't improve.
This is like the headliner, right?
This is the main event.
Fuck me, I'd be so annoyed if I spent $40 to watch this on TV
Yeah.
and got to this. So boring.
The crowd's quiet as well. You can hear it. There's just nothing really happening.
What? What? Why the fuck did Tyson count it? Isn't Tyson teammate of the other guy?
Yeah. It's a swerve. Yep.
Oh fuck, they get it very easily.
Fucking hell. And we're back! A new champion is crowned, the Austin era has begun, and a turn of the tide for the WWF as a whole. WrestleMania 14 drew in 836,283 pay-per-view buys. So big money came in for this, and the investment of Mike Tyson paid off massively. Who knew you could make money by biting a guy's ear off? But Scott, you know the drill. Overall thoughts?
I wish we just skipped that whole match, and you just said, "Fucking Steve Austin won." Then we don't need to know anything else about that.
This match was...
That was so slow.
Very, very slow, methodical. There were a couple of spots like in the beginning, but geez, there were a lot of rest holds.
And like all those people that paid for the pay-per-view, if it was to see Mike Tyson, fucking all of them got ripped off.
Yeah, he didn't
He
do
did shit all that whole match.
Anything that match. He did one thing at the end, which was count the pinfall.
Yeah.
But everything else, like, he was just standing there watching. I didn't even take match notes for this because it was just, there was nothing fucking going on. Like, nothing was happening. The match itself, I mean, Michael's back was injured. I don't blame them for it being a bad match. I mean, like, he couldn't do anything. Like, he didn't do any high spots, so there wasn't a lot of fast-paced action going on. It was just very slow. Michaels, you could tell, was visibly in pain. Like, kept going to the ropes, kept leaning on them. And there was one point where he kind of broke character a little bit and just kind of said, fuck, under his breath.
Oh, yeah.
And held his back. And it was just like, God, this guy's in so much pain. Like, credit to all him for wrestling anyway and pushing through.
Yeah.
You know, this was his last match for 4 years, and I guess he wanted to go out and, you know, at least have a WrestleMania to finish his career off. Because he thought this was it for him. He thought this was going to be, you know, his retirement, that was it. He ended up coming back 4 years later and having a successful run to finish his career off. But I still do give props for him for at least pushing through and, you know, finishing off the story, I guess.
I mean, I don't know. There was just so much more that they could have done.
The issue I have with this match is that they could have done more brawling. I think that could have been the workaround that they could have done. More crowd brawling, more to kind of masquerade any, like, thoughts of Michaels being injured and all the bumps and the stuff that they weren't going to take anyway because he was fucked.
Yeah.
What they could have done is what they did in the start, which was a lot of just brawling around the outside, which I thought would have been a good workaround, but they didn't do that. There were a lot of just rest holds. A lot of rest holds in this match.
I'm so annoyed all about, you know, Mike Tyson. Like, the whole, like, hype-up package.
Special guest enforcer.
It was just showing so much shit about Mike Tyson, and then he didn't do anything the whole match.
Yeah.
Like, if they actually gave him some training, 1, 2, 3 real quick, and that was the...
Yeah,
he betrayed him!
He didn't even do his job right. He counted the 3 so fast. Mike Tyson's role in this match was literally just standing there. He didn't, like, help Michaels out at all. He was just, I guess, intimidation factor, but like I think he had one interaction with Austin where he throws him in the ring.
Oh,
But
no.
that was literally it. That was all his interaction in this match. So I thought Mike Tyson was completely wasted. And considering they made the hype-up package beforehand all about him and all about his involvement in this storyline, it was just like, what?
What involvement, though?
I mean, he was on TV regularly in the build-up to this. And,
Yeah.
like, obviously appearing in segments and attacking Austin. Like, DX was attacking Austin in various scenarios. And Tyson was present for that.
Yeah.
But the story involvement for Tyson was basically he just aligned with DX.
Yeah.
Michaels had, obviously invested in the services of Mike Tyson, and he wanted Tyson on his side for the championship match. That was Mike Tyson's involvement. He didn't have any fight with Austin. He didn't, other than the clip
When
that
he
we
was
saw last week.
introduced, yeah.
Other than that, where they had a bit of a push and shove, and that was it. Which was a really good segment. And that was like, whoa, what a great way to hype up a championship match. Mike Tyson's going to be there. And Austin and Tyson don't get along. Ooh. I'd fucking buy it. If it was just that, I would buy it. If that was Tyson's only appearance, that would have been perfect. You wouldn't have had to do anything else. But they kind of watered it down by having him appearing again and again and having him side with Michaels and DX.
Okay. So he was like, after that introduction, he kind of became a part of the show?
Not necessarily. I think it would have felt more special if they didn't have him involved with DX.
Yeah.
I think it would have been a lot better if they didn't know whose side he was on. Maybe maybe they do one more segment, but he's having a fight with Michaels as well. And so you've got this thing where the crowd doesn't know, is Tyson on Michaels' side or is he on Austin's side?
Yeah.
That would have kept a lot more unpredictable. Like, Tyson could have had a lot more to work with in the match. He could have been helping out Michaels and then 1 minute helping out Austin, and then, like, maybe he's torn and who he wants to help out. And in the end, he makes the 3 count for Austin. And the crowd pops. Like, I thought that would have been a better scenario and a good use of Tyson, as opposed to what we got, it was a very wasted opportunity.
I love how nothing was happening, the commentators running out of shit to talk about.
Yeah.
And they're just like, Mike Tyson, he really knows what's going on.
Yeah.
And he's still floating around, and you just see him, wave his hands.
Oh, the DX crotch chops from Tyson.
You know what they look like?
What?
They look like fucking Gangnam Style.
Oh, yeah. Someone, like, doing, like,
Like a really
some,
shit.
like, 40-year-old dad doing Gangnam style. That's what Tyson looked like when he was doing the cross chops. It looked fucking awful. He'd, like, spread all his fingers apart. He'd make his arms really, really stiff. And just, like, and he'd have, like, the creepiest look on his face when he did it as well.
The baddest man alive.
The baddest man on the planet. I just want Vince to say that and then cut to a clip of Tyson just doing the awkward DX crotch chop.
We could make that, man.
We could make that clip. Yeah, Austin wins the championship in the end. Look, I wanted to show this match anyway just because it is a historic match. Mm-hmm. And this was, his crowning moment. And look, at the end of the match, it is a nice moment to see the crowd pop because they obviously really wanted Austin to win. And the visual of Austin holding up the championship, and that's, the pinnacle of his career, basically. And so if you think of it that way, it is a good moment to actually watch and to actually, experience that. The match itself, you can skip. It is what it is.
You should have just, like, show me the start, and then just cut to that.
Yeah.
Him holding up the thing.
Yeah, and that was the last time we saw the old Winged Eagle WWF Championship, that title design. They debuted a brand new one, which we will see very, very shortly. But I also wanted to talk about a little bit of a fact about Michaels and injuring his back. He injured it at the Royal Rumble in 1998. So when Austin won his Royal Rumble match to get a title shot at Mania, Michaels actually injured his back in a match with The Undertaker. So it was a pretty gnarly spot where Michaels was basically thrown out of the ring and he basically rotated and his back just really landed in an awkward position.
Yeah.
And it looked pretty... It didn't look that gnarly, but it just... You could kind of see, yeah, that wasn't the right landing that he could have taken there. But Michaels decided to wrestle through it until Mania. I don't believe he wrestled that much between Royal Rumble and WrestleMania, so it's about a 2-month period. Actually, another thing I want to talk about, DX. Ejected straight away. Triple H and China. You could have kept them around. The whole point of this story was to show how the odds were stacked against Austin. Why did you just eject Triple H and China straight away? They're supposed to be the foils for Steve Austin.
Yeah.
Austin overcoming the odds, where he's got Tyson against him. You've got Triple H and China there as well, messing about during the match.
They weren't, damaged. They could have, taken some of the high spots kind of thing.
Yeah.
Done some of the more interesting moves.
Exactly. You could have had, during points in the match, you could have had Austin just beating the shit out of Triple H.
Yeah.
There were plenty of opportunities to kind of evade Michael's back injury with other elements to the match. You've got Tyson, you've got Triple H and China, but you got rid of the two out of three of them within the first 2 minutes.
And you just leave the shittest person behind.
Yes. Doing his...
His Gangnam Styles.
Oh, God. The second fact I wanted to talk about was Michael's refusal to drop the belt to Austin. So, this is kind of a rumor, but apparently Michaels did not want to drop the belt to Steve Austin at WrestleMania. And The Undertaker, who we're a little bit familiar with, threatened to beat him up if he didn't. So much so that The Undertaker was apparently sitting at the gorilla position, so behind the curtain, before you go out into the arena, and he had taped his fists just in case Michaels tried to try something, another screw job essentially.
Yeah.
And so he was waiting there behind the curtain just in case. And once Austin won the championship, Undertaker untaped his wrists and walked off. Michaels disputes this. He says that he was always going to drop the championship to Austin. He says that he wanted people to think that he wasn't going to.
Yeah.
Apparently that's his side of the story. Believe who you want to believe in this case, I don't know. But I do like the visual of The Undertaker.
Just waiting behind the scenes.
Because he was the locker room leader, around that time. He was the veteran there, and he was kind of upholding the law, I guess. And Michaels was, notorious for being a fucking, obviously a prima donna and a really sketchy dude that, probably doesn't want to do business most days. So, you wouldn't put it past Michaels to kind of refuse to drop the belt to a new up-and-comer. So Michaels, what happens to him is basically he retires for 4 years. And the sad thing about Michaels was that he was going through a lot of drug addiction at the time. On his off period, I should say, he really, really struggled with drug addiction. There were times where he would be on TV and he wouldn't look right. In the eyes, you can just tell somebody doesn't look right. Or on TV, he'd wear sunglasses. Or just wouldn't seem all there, if you know what I mean. And I think it was down to a person who couldn't accept the fact that he was retired.
Yeah,
and really struggled with walking away. And we've talked about that, obviously, in the wrestler review that we... And, a lot of wrestlers do go through that. And I think he really, really struggled with that. And, he found God, was a born-again Christian, came back and had a successful career from 2002 to 2010. And we will definitely look at some of the Michaels matches during then because they're fantastic. He honestly puts on some fantastic matches during that period.
So he came back as a...
He came back as a full-time competitor and, I think he was late 30s at that point. To come back in your late 30s. Yeah, very, very, very brave of him to actually take that step.
Oh, especially after doing so much damage to your back.
Yeah. Definitely. So Austin is now the champion. What happens now? Austin was not McMahon's pick to lead the company. Well, the next night, March 30, Raw is War, Vince comes out to open the show and presents Steve Austin with the brand new WWF Championship. A gorgeous looking belt, I might add. You know, nice circular shaped championship. It's got a big eagle on it, so I'm all aboard on this.
Oh yeah.
Very patriotic.
Patriotic, yeah.
Anyway, Vince offers Austin a choice. We can do this the easy way, or we can do this the hard way.
I'm pleased to present to you the new World Wrestling Federation Champion, Stone Cold Steve Austin! I'm proud of you to represent this company, my company. And Mr. Austin, together, and that's a key word, and I want you to listen. Together. Together, Mr. Austin, with my vision and your charisma. Together with my mental prowess and your physical prowess. Together, Mr. Austin, one day, you might become the greatest WWF champion of all time.
Vince, let's cut through all the BS. I know for a fact that you hate me. But that's okay. That's okay because I hate you right back. Wow. What you've got to understand is there ain't going to be no you or me. There ain't no we. You ain't going to mold me. You ain't going to break me. What you see, Vince, is what you get. And if you don't like that, tough luck. What I'm telling you, you can look right in my bloodshot eyes. I ain't gonna do things your way. I will continue to raise as much hell and do things and create as much chaos and give you more gray hairs every single day of your life. Nobody, especially Vince McMahon, tells Stone Cold Steve Austin what to do, and that's the bottom line.
Well, we can either do this the easy way, or we can do this the hard way, Mr. Austin. And that's going to be your decision. What's that mean?
Well, that sounds like an important decision. The easy way or the hard way. And if I'm going to be able to be forced to make a decision here tonight, I'd like your definition of what the easy way and what the hard way is. What is your definition of that?
It's real simple. The easy way is to learn to be flexible, to learn to adapt, Mr. Austin. And if you'd bear with me for just a moment, please. Mr. Austin, adaptation is a key of life as well as in business. That's the easy way, and quite frankly, the hard way. You're going to wind up doing it my way anyhow. You'll be forced into doing it my way, so that's the hard way. And we don't even need to discuss that.
Wow.
Like I said, that's an extremely important decision in my book. For yours and my relationship, can I have maybe 10 seconds to think about this decision?
By all means.
What you've seen is how to do things the hard way. If you want Stone Cold, to continue doing things the hard way. Give me a hell yeah. Oh, hell yeah.
How the hell is the WWF going to be able to control him as champion? Stone Cold Steve Austin is the WWF champion. What a chaotic night it was, ladies and gentlemen. It's already started here. This reminds me of last night.
So Vince basically wants Austin to conform, to be a good role model. Obviously, Vince is thinking about sponsors and your typical corporate thinker. Vince sort of threatens Austin a little bit in this segment as well. You'll be forced to do it anyway.
Yeah.
Which is very interesting. Austin takes exception to that and then stuns Vince. And actually, Vince, later on in the broadcast, he called the police, and Austin gets arrested again. What did you think of that segment?
It was pretty ridiculous.
Yeah?
Like, I really like the start.
Yeah.
Where he just straight away snatches the belt out
Yeah.
of Vince's hands, chucks his old, like, gives Vince his old belt,
Yeah.
and, like, Vince McMahon has just this shocked look
Yeah.
on his face.
Think about it. They've had that championship for like a decade. That original design.
Yeah.
It's like so many greats have held, like Hulk Hogan, Ultimate Warrior, Randy Savage. All these great wrestlers have held this, and they just tossed it to the side.
Yeah.
It's just, I want that new one. I just thought that was fantastic. Austin in this is like just perfect. Like his character is just so well defined. It's just like you're not gonna tell me what to do.
Yeah.
And Vince, like he isn't his character fully yet. He isn't that kind of deranged, like tyrannical boss quite yet. He's kind of still calm at this point. And I think as we progress, we will start to. He kind of have more of a slow transition. And with Vince at this point, he's kind of just tolerant of Austin. He doesn't like him. He doesn't hate him. He's just like, I'm just going to try and make this work at this point. Which leads on to our next segment. The next week, April 6th, Roy's War. McMahon comes out to introduce the new and improved Rattlesnake with a more corporate flair.
Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, may I present to you the new and improved World Wrestling Federation Champion, Stone Cold Steve Austin!
Well, we got a money-back guarantee riding on this one. Well, I don't believe it. What did I tell you? I was dead wrong. Austin in a blue suit, no less. White shirt. My God, Austin's gone corporate. Look at that.
Mr. Austin, I'm overwhelmed. I believe this is the first step. Tonight is the very first step in perhaps you becoming the greatest WWF champion of all time. This is one small step for Steve Austin, one giant leap for the World Wrestling Federation. And everyone here and everyone all over the world is wondering, what was it? What was the moment that allowed you to accept reality, that allowed you to begin to bend just a bit?
I can answer that when you
Well,
threatened
you
to
know,
fire him.
When you're sitting in a jail cell and, you know, the walls are kind of closing in around you, they wouldn't bring me my bread and water. And I started thinking to myself, you know, Steve, really, what kind of chance do you have to compete against Vince McMahon? I mean, here I am, little old Steve Austin from Victoria, Texas, and then you've got Vince McMahon from Greenwich, Connecticut, the guy born with a silver spoon in his mouth, the owner of a multi-million-dollar company, an entrepreneur, a leader, and here I am, a redneck from South Texas who happens to have a belt. And
A redneck that looks good in a suit. He's seen the light, JR. That's all
I
there's
said
to
to
it.
myself, and this is what I said to myself in that jail cell, I said, no one could hear me. I said, Steve, if you think you can beat Vince McMahon, give me a hell yeah. And what I had... But like I said, I was in a jail cell, and I had to say, Steve, hell no, you can't beat Vince McMahon.
Right! It's like a stallion being gelded. What?
You got to understand the power that a Vince McMahon has, the control, and everything that goes with it. So realizing all that, and I'm not going to grovel for you because I'm bending my back as it is. Right. So what I'd like to do, if we could get one of the fine officers of the law to take a picture of you and me together, because I got my new suit on. We're seeing eye to eye, and I just wanted maybe you and me take a little snapshot.
I told you, JR, he is really sucking up now. McMahon has completely broken his spirit.
You don't mind, I'd like to have the belt this way. All right?
Why don't you put it on, Vince?
You don't mind?
Might as well. Ain't that pretty? What a corporate picture. That'll probably be on the corporate Christmas cards this year. Yeah.
Now, you know, the old Steve Austin, the old Stone Cold Steve Austin would probably tell you to take this camera and stick it up your ass.
Hey. Tell him, Vince.
I know, but that was the old Stone Cold. Thank you.
That was the old Stone Cold. The new Stone Cold wants you to take this camera and get the film developed, because this is the absolute last time you will ever see Stone Cold Steve Austin wearing a ridiculous suit like this son of a bitch I got.
Well, I knew it! I knew it! I knew it! Wait a minute! The hell with a corporate image! Fire it, Vince! The rattlesnake! Ah! Rattlesnakes don't make corporate pets! What's he doing now?
Promise you hell, you gotta remember, son, what you see is what you get with Stone Cold Steve Austin. I ain't fancy, and I'm a redneck from South Texas, you're damn right, and I ain't gonna change for nobody.
He threw the suit away!
I got one last thing to say to you, Vince. Hell,
There goes the tie!
like I told you before, I said it to someone else, I'll say it to you. DTA, don't trust anybody. Now what I want you to do is bow down for Stone Cold.
Oh my gosh! What? What has he done?
Stone Cold Steve Austin, don't change for nobody, and that's the bottom line, because Stone Cold sits tall.
He hit McMahon right in Greenwich. Where? He's gonna pay for that, I can assure you.
So Vince gets sack tapped. Scott, did you enjoy the sack tap?
I mean, it was pretty funny, but like,
What did you think of the segment?
it was just ridiculous.
Yeah. I'm noticing this is your reaction for a lot of these segments.
It just doesn't make any fucking sense.
What do you mean?
Well, like, they've put a suit on him, and they're calling him a corporate bitch. Like, is wearing a suit really that bad? I don't know, I just don't buy that he's demeaned by wearing a suit, or he's controlled by wearing a suit.
Well, I guess his character up until that point was so anti-establishment, and for him to be... It wasn't just about him wearing the suit. It was about him kind of giving in to Vince's demands. That's what it was more about. And so Austin wearing the suit was kind of just more of a symbol for that. Of like, oh, he's giving in. McMahon has made Austin conform, basically.
But none of the other wrestlers wear suits.
I mean, but that's not really related to this storyline.
No, but like, how is wearing a suit conforming?
It was more of just a symbol for that.
Yeah.
You needed some sort of visual representation of Austin conforming. One way to do that is to put him in a suit. And everyone's like, oh no, Austin is given in to Vince.
The new Stone
A
Cold.
corporate Stone Cold. I know it's cheesy and it's a little, on the nose, but obviously we've talked about how wrestling isn't subtle.
Oh, yeah.
You'll get a lot of these segments where they'll be plain as day. Everything's kind of predictable.
Probably would have been more humiliating for Steve Austin.
Well, it wasn't designed to be humiliating. That's the thing, though. It was more of a symbol of him giving in.
Well, okay. But it was kind of a humiliation thing, but also him giving in. What I probably would have liked to see would be like him having to apologize for everything that he's done.
Okay.
Like him doing, I would love to see him do a promo where he does an apology.
Yeah.
And it's like, I did this. He has to shake everyone's hand.
Yeah.
And then he goes, I'm sorry for doing this stupid apology. Throws the mic in Vince McMahon's face.
So you didn't like the idea of him just like stripping off the suit and doing that big reveal, or was it you thought it would be more impactful if you did it the other way?
Well, I mean, you kind of saw it. Like you were kind of wanting for him to lose his shit. And
like the audience knew that it was like, oh, this is obviously going to be a swerve for Vince. But I think the whole point of it is to see Vince's reaction to it. Because he thinks that, oh, I've got him now.
I've won. Yeah.
Yeah, and then Austin just like, nope, and then sap tax him. Yeah. I'm glad they didn't do a stunner again, because I think 3 stunners in a row.
Oh, yeah.
Like, they did it a few months back, and then they'll do it, like, him to have, like, just keep stuttering Vince. It'll get tired.
Yeah.
I appreciate the fact that they just did, like, a sack tap and that was it.
Yeah.
Or he didn't just, like, beat the shit out of him. It was just, like, a harmless, like, little attack. But in terms of Austin, being this anti-establishment, I think we got that message across perfectly fine. I was happy with it. I think it was a funny segment. Austin just stripping down. What you see is what you get, and he takes off his pants. I thought that was funny.
Well, there's something really unsettling about a man wearing just a t-shirt and underwear.
Well, it was his wrestling tights. It wasn't underwear. Well, it was his wrestling tights.
But I wish he threw off the shirt as well.
Oh yeah.
Then he, looks like he's about to wrestle. Just rocking.
Well, he had his entire gear underneath.
Yeah.
He had the knee pads and he had everything ready to go.
That would have been amazing.
His wrists were taped.
Yeah.
Austin continuing on the role of getting the upper hand on Vince, which transitions into next episode where we actually see a bit more of an interesting turn of events. And Austin gets into his first feud as the WWF champion. Mm-hmm. So, Scott, what are your thoughts on the story so far that we're progressing through?
Well, it was good to see the first episode. It was good to see Steve up and coming. Yeah. His character's definitely really cemented now.
Yeah,
as
definitely.
To who he is. He's like that badass. He won't, he won't put up with anything. But I mean, the match today was a bit of a letdown.
Yeah, the match itself, it was kind of like I have to show you it sort of thing. We are going to get to points where we are going to be watching boring matches.
Yeah.
Because it happens in wrestling. Like, there's never a point where it's everything is amazing, because that's just not going to be the case, There are outside factors that always affect a wrestling match. Whether it's booking decision, whether it's one guy probably just having an off night, one guy's, partly injured, or maybe, I don't know, the story just doesn't work and it's affected the match. There could be a number of factors, and we are going to come across matches where they're just not going to be that interesting. But I think it is a good learning lesson for yourself to actually watch these matches and sit through them. Because as a wrestling fan, that's what we kind of do. So, you gotta take the good and the bad with it. And I think I can't just keep showing you great matches, because I think then you'll have kind of a skewed perspective on what is a good match and what is a bad match.
When you first told me how long the pay-per-views are, 4 hours or something?
3 hours.
3 hours. And you're like, yeah, I usually do something. It's running in the background.
Yeah,
You could easily... that whole match, I could have just sat on my phone looking at memes.
A lot of the time, that's how I watch.
happening.
A lot of the time, that's how I watch wrestling.
Yeah. But, you know, I am looking forward to next week and hopefully seeing something a little bit more interesting. I know this step was definitely necessary to the story, but
Yes.
yeah, I'm keen to see what happens next.
We'll be looking at a very interesting individual going up against Steve Austin, which is Dude Love.
Dude Love.
Dude Love, one of the characters of Mick Foley.
Okay.
So Mick Foley has 3 different characters, and one of them is Dude Love.
Yes.
A very, very interesting character. Probably his least popular character, because it was mainly a heel character.
Yeah.
But, kind of a funny one, I would say. But yeah, Steve Austin versus Dude Love from Unforgiven 1998 and Over the Edge 1998. So those 2 pay-per-view matches. And the segment previously to that, on April 13th, Steve Austin versus Vince McMahon in an actual match. Or is it? Find out next time. Just to let you know, this audio podcast is available on multiple platforms like YouTube and Facebook. And for your audio listening pleasure, we're also available on iTunes and Stitcher. Brand new to us here. iTunes and Stitcher, we just got on it. Stitcher's being a little bit slow, but we're trying to update it and get that RSS feed all working and ready to go.
Yep.
Stitcher's a fucking cunt. So there will be links to those in the description, of course. And if you'd like to get in touch with us, follow us on Twitter at Wrestless Radio. So if you have any questions or suggestions for future episodes, please do hit us up.
And don't forget about Player.fm.
Oh yes, Player.fm.
Very overlooked in the podcasting world.
Honestly, it's up and coming. You want to jump on the rocket ship as it's coming through the ozone layer.
It's like Bitcoin.
Before it hits moon.
It's like Bitcoin. You gotta get in early.
You gotta get in early.
Yeah.
You know, once we get to about 2025, boom period, you're going to want to invest in Player.fm. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave a rating, review, like or comment, or whatever your heart desires. It is all appreciated. Thank you once again for listening. I've been Julian.
And I'm Scott.
And we'll see you next time on Wrestless Radio.